Hello, guys. Welcome back again. Today is Thursday. I normally don't do lives on Thursday, but today's a special day. And I think I have a great brother that we need to really be on this platform because another history has been made. You see what I'm saying? It's about this journey of moving back to the African continent, and it's an amazing story that I just want you guys to witness today. So if you just come through, come on, just go ahead and smash that like button. Let's keep our energy up for tonight because trust me, we have an amazing guest today. You know, this brother don't need an introduction because he's been on this channel for a longer time. He has been supporting this channel financially. He's been moderating this channel for a long time, and trust me, he has made one of the biggest moves that I'm really proud of. And I think we need to share that experience with everyone. He's currently in Gambia and he just recently moved. So we need to really talk to him. We need to really talk to him right now. Uh, Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So if you just joined, just go ahead and smash the like button, and I'm gonna just wait for him to call in, and we can get this live started. Just go ahead and smash the like button whilst we wait for him. I'm really happy when he just texted me. He's currently in Gambia, so let's just wait for him to join. But just go ahead and smash that like button. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I appreciate everyone for being on here. It's all about having the audacity, having the will, and the step. When it comes to moving to the African continent, a lot of people have been talking about it, especially those in the diaspora. And it's really amazing to me to see a brother that, I've known for a while taking that step from this platform. So I really want to give him the opportunity to actually share his story with us because not everyone can do it. Everyone wants to do it, but not everyone can take the step. He sold everything and moved out to the continent. This is something we have to really applaud him for. And I'm really happy today. If I didn't do this live today, I wouldn't feel comfortable, but I'm really happy. Thank you so much. Just join. Brother Jerome, just join. I just posted the link. Just go ahead and join. So we can have this live going on. If you just join, just go ahead and smash the like button. Just call in right now so I can add you. Thank you so much. Hey, yes sir, how you doing?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Congratulations. I just don't know how to explain that.
Thank you.
You know, when you told me
Definitely.
you were going, I really didn't believe it will be so soon. Because I mean, yeah, I just felt like maybe you were working towards it. But when you just
Correct.
shoot me that message and said, "Well, I'm right here," you know what I'm saying? It was just
Definitely.
yeah. So how did you make all this step? How did you gather the zeal to take this step?
Um, okay, can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. It was something inside of me, I think, even as a child. I mean, growing up here in the diaspora, I'm from the US. I'm from California, Los Angeles, Compton area.
Okay.
Um, and I'm not gonna belabor you with a lot of the things that we had to endure here.
Okay.
But I will say that it's always been something that it was inside of me, but I wasn't able to know what it was. That I always had this yearning to return back to Africa.
Okay.
And over time, I began to look at different events that happened to my life that led me up to this point to actually make that decision.
Okay.
And um, so what I did was I said, okay, let me start saving money aside. Let me start doing a lot of different research. Where specifically in Africa do I want to go?
Okay.
And like with many people, many of us had ancestry. Things were traced, through like little DNA kits and stuff.
Right.
And to my surprise, I mean, all of us here in the diaspora, at least for the most of us, have European lineage. So, we sort of dismiss that one. You want to know where in Africa you come from,
Right.
and when I had 73% of African in me, I'm like, wow. So then you want to know a little bit more deeper. But
Mm-hmm.
the problem that you always fall into is if I return back to Africa, is my brother and sister going to regard me as the same?
Okay.
And we tend to have like those little hangups. And a part of me says, regardless what you would consider me as, this is something that I'm doing not just for myself, but it's for the ancestors. And when I
Okay.
say the ancestors, I mean really sealing that prophecy of returning back to Africa, help embrace and build communities and dying on that soil. That was something that a lot of my ancestors did not have the opportunity of doing. So it ends really with me.
Okay.
So I was a little bit nervous because I said, okay, it's this calling inside of me. I just hope that my wife is definitely going to be on board. So I kind of threw it out a little bit, and I said, hey, do you think, have you ever thought about, just leaving all of this behind in America, having a wonderful career and a nice home and everything, and just go back? And the look that she gave me, I cannot describe. She looked at me and she says, bruh, when are we leaving?
Wow.
So I said, are you really serious? And then my mother, who happened to be over at the time, she overheard the discussion. And she says, look, I've been looking to retire sometime this year, and I want to be able to start something brand new and be able to
Okay.
contribute to my own people. And I cannot effectively do that here in America. So
Okay.
here it is. Yeah, three professionals, brother, and we
Yeah,
left.
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I know, a lot of people, I have seen a lot of people who, currently live Tanzania, Ghana, Gambia. Now, when you told me you moved and I watched that video you posted on your channel,
I am
you,
in the process of moving. I'm not over here just yet. I leave next month.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I saw the video you posted, talking about how you got ready. You basically you in the process of selling your house. Now, how would that feel? Knowing, okay, I'm about to move to this place and I'm ready to sell everything. How did you get that courage to just do it? It's just something I'm just thinking about.
Okay. There's a quote that I live by. It's
Mhm.
by Deepak Chopra, and I think I've shared it before. It's the things we fear the most have already happened to us.
Okay.
So, so when people fear starting someplace new, being in an area that is totally foreign to them, not really know if they're going to make it, we
Hmm.
have had that existence here in America since day one, since we got here.
Okay.
Um, we've lived in conditions that many people find undesirable. I know what it is to get electricity cut off.
Hmm.
Over here if you don't pay anything. So, um, you know, I think just life circumstances has battle tested a lot of folks in the diaspora to be able to endure something like a new frontier, returning and repatriating back to Africa. So for me, it feels like a very smooth and natural transition. So to be able to prepare for that, I had to mentally begin to educate myself many years ago about how to deprogram myself of Western ways and divest myself of things that I really don't need here.
Okay.
And even in my video, you saw that I had a lot of, well, you probably didn't see some of those parts, but I had a lot of stuff in storage. And it was like, man, every time when I'm cleaning or throwing away something out of storage, it's like it never went away. I still had a lot of stuff. And I
Stuff.
said, man, do I really need all of this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that I need to just be able to live a more simple life. I need to be able to just go back to really what's important.
Okay.
And I felt that Africa, and where I'm going to the Gambia, that's where I'm going,
Okay.
has just about everything that I need. And I don't have any fears about that because I've heard the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some people should visit before they go over there.
Right.
And the way that I've always lived my life is I am very content with any decision that I make because I don't do it based off of emotion. It comes with a lot of understanding, education, and really weighing out if that's something that is going to be good for me and living with my decisions. So, um, there really is no undoing it. So
Okay.
that's why, yeah, I mean,
And
that's
and
what my decision is, and that's where we're going, man.
I just wanted to chip this in real quick. The fact that your mom and your wife just jumped on board right away, that's
Yeah.
that's a blessing not everyone, get the chance to taste,
Yes.
because one of the biggest thing restricting or just stopping people from making that move eventually is their families. They don't get the support and
Yes.
everything. So for the fact that you just got the support right away, that's a big thing, right there. You almost there.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you have any children?
No, no. If it's God's will, when my wife and I, when we get out there,
Okay.
maybe more natural and healthier eating, whatever it is, where the ancestors will smile upon us and be able to have children there. But if not, my wife and I have already discussed to be able to adopt in
Okay.
the Gambia, to actually adopt a child. That part was uncompromisable for both of us,
Okay.
because one of the major things that we always looked at and focused on was, if we ever adopt a child, obviously it's going to be an African child. When I
Okay.
say African, I mean no matter where you are, as long as you are African, right?
Hmm.
Or even from here, from the U.S. But because we're moving to the Gambia, we have a we personally feel that when you have people from, let's say, Europe or those other groups that want to go and adopt children from Africa, I always hold a very high eyebrow on something like that, because you don't hear from those kids anymore.
Hmm.
And I think the greatest tragedy that comes along with that is someone is taking you away from whatever your culture is. You will not even know who you are if you return back to, a European society
Yeah.
coming from the Gambia. So always had this deep in my heart, and some people may not agree with me, but my opinion on that is African people should adopt African children,
Children.
and there's really no way around that. So that's something that we're going to definitely try to champion when we happen to get out there, is really advocate for stronger systems to be in place. So when you have people that want to come over and adopt, when you have Europeans or white folks that want to go over to Gambia or different places in Africa to adopt, we kind of put the brakes on that, because we don't know what happens to those children. And here in
Hmm.
America, on my end, I see exactly what happens
Hmm.
to those babies that actually come over here. So,
Okay.
that's where we are when I'm talking about like having, like a family,
Okay.
African
So
parents and African children.
yes, I was just, speaking to. I remember. I don't know if you watched the life I did with Mr. Jarvis, and basically he was talking about, how he went outside and came, from wherever he went to the orphanage in Tanzania, and he seen these two French men, basically grabbing the orphans and they sit on, their lap,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Man, it's 8 p.m. What you doing right here with the kids?" You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I mean, the reason why I even asked about the children is because I just
Mhm.
wanted to know how, in case you had children, how they felt about the whole moving. But it's good eventually you didn't have one, so you don't have to worry about that. That's that aspect, and it's good to adapt. I mean, it's best we can do it ourselves if we can, instead of letting other races, because I don't understand. I can raise an European child, you see what I'm saying, because I'm not one.
Yeah.
So
Right.
but people want to know, why did you choose the Gambia?
I chose the Gambia simply because I like the fact that it was a small country. Here it is. I'm from Los Angeles area.
Okay.
Everything is too big. It's overcrowded. Secondly, I love the beauty of the
Okay.
place, fertile soil, and what I also really liked about it was that it was not a lot of development, but a lot of potential there. The
Okay.
majority of their workforce are all millennials. So I see nothing but potential. And like another YouTuber sort of described, it's kind of like the desert before Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You see nothing but pure potential. And I think to me, that's a very powerful feeling, knowing that at least I can be a part of that growth or that change that I wish to see in that place that I've always desired to be. Because I
Hmm.
still feel like an outsider here within the US, and we've been here for generations, but you really can't call anything your own. But to know that you can help build a community, you help embrace the culture, and you definitely bring infrastructure to the country. That place can be a very big contender when it comes to commerce if
Okay.
we really just band together and we do business in Gambia. Um,
Okay.
and then also with Ghana, I also looked at Ghana as well. Very beautiful places there that I also considered. But when I sat and sort of marinated on it, everything led to the Gambia.
Yeah, and like I always say, the continent is big. You just have to pick where
Yeah.
you are connected to, and you should be okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can do our best explaining on which country you should go to and all this stuff, but it's at the end,
Correct.
it's up to you. So what I'm saying, it's up to you. Now, somebody asks, was Gambia your first choice, or you just had other countries in mind?
So it was a toss up of quite a few. So Gambia was one of them. No, it was not my first choice. I believe my
Okay.
first choice. I believe it was Tanzania.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tanzania.
That was actually my yeah, that was my first choice because I love like really beachy areas. But the only problem is that I'm not good in speaking. I can't speak Swahili, and it may take me some time to catch up with languages. In Gambia, it's
English.
predominantly English speaking, in addition to Wolof, Fulani, and Mandinka. So at least I can be somewhere. I'm not, and I saw many beautiful francophone countries, but I don't speak
Mhm.
French.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah.
so that's and then it was Sierra Leone was one
Okay.
that I was
Yeah,
thinking
that's
of.
that's another I mean nice country. And
Yeah,
so what's your YouTube channel, because I really want people to
sure,
subscribe and see how you do the whole
sure.
transition, because I saw you went to, I don't know if it was the harbor to get a whole container, to ship your
Yes,
stuff. That's something I
yes,
want
yes,
to know.
yes.
How is the whole
Sure.
process? What's the channel's name? Hold on.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm just trying to get the channel's name, but I'm saying, how's the whole process in getting your stuff shipped?
Oh man. Let me preface it at least by saying when we watch a lot of repats who return who go to either the Gambia or Ghana that have a lot of these different shows. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are coming from the east coast of the U.S. and they're coming from either the southern states in the U.S., which puts them a lot closer to the continent, which means
Okay.
shipping is a little bit more cheaper.
Okay.
So I've never seen any other West Coast YouTubers except for one who I do some work with right now.
Okay.
If can I mention his name on your platform?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay. So it's my brother, the Happy Companion. He's from Long Beach of California, and he actually went to. He had his channel where he was talking when he was in the Gambia, and he has
Mm-hmm.
since then returned, but he will be returning at some point. So he was the only person from the West Coast that I knew. That part
Okay.
is important because when it comes to shipping, we mainly cater to Japan, China, and Hawaii when we have
Mm-hmm.
shipping. So it
Mm-hmm.
makes it almost twice as expensive for us over here because in order for us to get to Africa, we have to take the Panama Canal. And each ship that goes through the Panama Canal, that's a $1 million entry every time they do it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a lot. So it is very expensive to do that, but it was really it's really the only way. Watching your channel, you had made a recommendation for some people
Mm-hmm.
to divest of everything and just go and just buy your stuff there.
Now that's what.
Um,
Hold on for a second. That's what I wanted to ask. So, what are
yeah.
some of the
Mm.
things you're shipping? Are you shipping your vehicle? Are you
Yes.
shipping?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So to prepare for the move, I said I need to try to get everything that I need that I'm going to need if I'm going to be setting up a business, whatever that may be out there. let me go ahead and stock up on things and purchase it here. Because
Hmm.
I learned that there's a lot of maybe secondhand stuff out there. And at least here, if I buy something in America, I know that I can go to the store and say, hey, you sold me something. And there are laws to, that are in place to be able to protect me, to be able to get stuff like that. So my storage container, I went and purchased, I didn't purchase, but I traded in my vehicle and I traded it in and I got a 4x4 vehicle
Oh,
because of the rainy seasons and the unpaved roads. And
like
I
a
was
Jeep,
able to, and I,
like a
go
Jeep
ahead.
model.
It's a pickup truck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pickup truck. And I was able to get a winch put on the front of it, which will be able to help pull me out of something in the event like that. So I'm bringing that and then one of our other vehicles here.
Okay.
And just like your knickknacks, I think we probably brought more seasonings, for certain things that we like, generators, solar lights and solar panels and
Yes.
things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are things that we actually feel that we need.
You need to share.
And yeah, and what I also just watching other YouTubers, I'm a student at this. When I watch your channel, I have to try to watch other ones too, just to kind of see what the opinion is on or the benefits of actually bringing certain things. So what I learned for me was, although you may have a lot of things in your garage, things that are in storage that you may or may not need, if it's going in a storage container, bring it anyway, because you're going to find a need for it at some point when you over
Right.
there. There is
Right.
no Amazon, right? They have Alibaba, and they might be limited on things that they may get over there.
Right.
So I wanted to just try to prepare myself as much as I could, and take over the things that I know that I'm going to need and things that I may not need, but at least it could benefit someone else and I can give it to them, or I can use it for a business. So I'm not of the opinion to tell everyone maybe to throw everything away, but that's for people, maybe younger millennial people who can get
People.
up and do
Yeah.
something like that. That's that group that's for.
Yes.
I
So,
watched another. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
oh, okay. So, I don't know if you want to answer this. It's too
Sure.
personal, but
Go ahead.
he said, "How much money are you budgeting to take with you to the Gambia?" I mean, it's up to you. If you don't want to answer, you
Okay.
the
Okay.
questions are
So
coming in a lot.
okay. So I just sold my home.
Okay.
I just sold one of my homes. I still have a rental property here.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I would say take about maybe 9 or 10. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is we're not going to immediately jump in there and start buying up land and property. We're going to go, and maybe about a week or two, we're going to stay at a repat type of compound. We're going to stay there and kind of get a feel for the land. Then we're going to drive around to take a look at some of the compounds that you could rent. Now, some
Okay.
go 6 months, some go for 1 year. It was agreed with my family that, well, what if we don't like it? I don't want to commit to being there for 1 year, so let's shorten that. And then if we like it, we'll go ahead and just pay for the remainder of the year, or we can go to a different compound. I've heard horror stories about that, so we're not going to jump in first and commit to something.
Right.
And when we find the compound that we like, if we're going to have anything built up or land and stuff like that, then maybe pull a little bit more extra out. But I think for my family, because it's three of us, I think right around 9 or 10K
Would
would
be
suffice for our lifestyle. And
okay.
we're very frugal. So that should take us a very long way. And we have our own vehicles that are being shipped over there too. So we
Okay.
don't have to pay for any drivers and stuff.
And the one thing you said that I really think it will really help you. I mean, sustain in Gambia for so many years before you even figure out everything on your own, as for the fact that you have a source of income back home that still brings in
Yes.
that cash flow. So that was,
Yes.
a smart thing. You have that whole back thing figured out, and also like
Correct.
you said, you're trying to spend the first, yeah, I mean, 10,000 or 9,000 for the first year or
Correct.
2 years to figure out before you make a decision on whether you
Yes.
should build a house or buy
Correct.
one.
Correct. And I want to say, I think the blessing of my grandmother used to say, save money and money will save you.
Mm-hmm.
So, living within your means. We're going out there to create jobs. We're not going out there to be on vacation. We realize that that's where we're going to be living for the rest of our lives.
Nice.
So we have to be very mindful about what it is that we do and how we spend. When you look at the cost of living here in California, especially for three people, $10,000, for a year is, that's a steal.
Yeah.
So for me, I accept that as a risk worth taking.
Okay.
I look at that as a risk worth taking. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a consultation company as
Okay.
well, where I'm able to do things, uh, through social
Online.
media and stuff like that. And yeah, where I can do it online. And before I would do like public speaking on certain issues, if you don't mind, I can share with my business, my
Yeah.
consultation business.
Yeah.
Okay. So the name of my consultation business is called Dignity Out Loud, and Dignity Out Loud specifically addresses human sex trafficking issues of Black people only.
Mm-hmm.
It's not people of color. It's not minorities where we can kind of compound and hide who's really being affected. It's for Black people, and I'm very emphatic about putting that in my mission statements because the world needs to know who is overrepresented when it comes to human sex trafficking. We're talking worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what my platform is for, and I have a very unapologetic way and an interactive way of actually teaching, where it calls people to sort of call upon their own personal biases to show how they're also complicit when you don't do something about it. So I've been in that sector for about maybe 21 years or so with that experience and a few other backgrounds and things that I have. So that's what
Okay.
my consultation company is about. And at some point, we know that in Gambia, that is a really major issue when it comes to sex tourism. And that's something that uh, now that I'll be living over there, now it's going to be my damn business.
Right. It will. It will. You're right. And somebody just asked a question. I think
Mhm.
they're really interested because they keep asking. They say, "Are you going to connect with any other expat while in the Gambia?" And also, this is my personal question. When you're done, I want to ask you this. There's a lot of people who have an opinion about, when the African diaspora move to an African country, they try to create their own community instead of living with among the local people. After
Right.
you're done with this question, how do you feel about? Are you really trying to get closer to other African diaspora in the Gambia, or you have made up your mind to just live among the people?
Okay. So which one you want me to get answer first?
Just take his question first. Are you going to connect with other expat while in the Gambia?
Okay, sure. Yes, and I'm going to connect with other expats because it's a level of familiarity.
Hmm.
We're going to places that we have never been,
Okay.
and that's how it is here in the U.S. Don't and sometimes people get it confused when they say when someone from the continent comes to America, like no one engages them.
Hmm.
Usually they'll do what comes natural. They're going to also find other like-minded people that's going to definitely put them up on game about what American culture is. This is how they do business and things like that. It's natural for you to go comfortably where you know that you're going to feel somewhat insulated and being safe and protected, right?
Hmm.
Not saying that, there's violent, something's going to happen to me or anything like that. It's mainly someone is going to be able to speak the language. Someone has already been through what you were about to go through, who is going to tell you this is what it is. Then they can also definitely educate you on, hey, when you're here, don't bring those Western ways with you. You are now in
Gambia.
Gambia. You're now here in Gambia, and you're still going to have, it's like I don't like the term when people say melting pot. It's kind of like a salad bowl because you still have your own individuality, but you're in the same bowl.
Right.
So I'm there to be open and learn what, and I have to go in there and learn what was never taught to me. But
Okay.
then I'm also there to say, look, my brother, where I'm coming from, this is what I learned about what works and what doesn't work. Who is out to get you, and who can definitely, who you can definitely trust. And just being a Black American, I mean, it's always an inherent level of distrust with
Okay.
anyone. You know,
Yeah.
we've had our own brothers do certain things like that. We have people over here that scam. It ain't just in Africa. No matter
Yeah.
where you go, hell, you know, and it's going to be the people sometimes that don't even look like you are the ones that scamming you the very best, but they do it with a smile in front of your face. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So yes, so to answer your question, yes, but also in those communities are also other Gambians who are also very interested and welcoming to having the diaspora come over because they have a lot of them have a newer way of thinking where it's like, you know what, we've also been lied to and manipulated about our brothers and sisters over in America or anywhere in the diaspora. So there is a meeting of the minds where you do have people that really want to learn about one another. So that's how you slowly began to learn about the culture. But ultimately, I would like to be just among Africans. That's just pretty much what I wanted to do. I wanted to wake up every day and see a sea of nothing but ebony skin,
Okay.
to see nothing but ebony skin, to see nothing but smiles, to get the aromas, just to get culture and everything that was taken away from us. So I'm in the process of trying to learn like a little bit of Wolof. You know, I definitely want to get over there and just start speaking English and think everything revolves around me.
Right.
That's there. And I think, in my opinion, I think that that's pretty disrespectful if you're going to move to someone else's country and expect for people to do things the American way. You expect people uh, to to soothe and compliment you. No,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work that way. You're somewhere else. You have to be able to. You have. You just have to be open. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't go there closed mind. Although they may be very peaceful people out there, you're still African at the end of the day. Somebody gonna check you. You know, you don't just come into
Mm-hmm.
someone's house without wiping your feet on the carpet. You know, they're definitely going to make sure that you know you're definitely going to make sure that that you're very prudent in all your dealings that you have with those people out there. So yeah, I'm there to meet with both people.
Cool.
My
And
my
and
repass, yeah,
I mean, this to me, when people complain about, especially some of the, I've watched some few YouTube channels, and people were saying,
mhm,
well, if African diaspora move to Ghana or Gambia, Tanzania, they try to create a community. I think, I mean, in Ghana, yes, they have the African American community in Ghana and all the stuff. We have the Chinese town, Chinatown, all the stuff happen. And
right,
I mean, I understand when you're moving for the first start, you need to really, mingle with people from the same place you came from that has already been there. You learn from
right,
their mistakes so you don't repeat the same mistake. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean,
right,
after you get all those information and knowledge, you can eventually create some connection. I mean, more connection with the local
correct,
people. And then, I mean, you can create your own path in that country. So
yeah,
I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah. I mean that's a false dilemma. You know, um, I personally don't know of anyone that wants to repatriate to anywhere in Africa and not want to be amongst the people in the community.
Right.
Nothing is wrong with loving who you are and the things that you may have been through, be it be it trial and error, being things that have happened to us. But to say we managed to get through this, there's a certain pride that we have as Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when we're all, and also let me say this too, when we're talking about repats and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
what I want some of our continental brothers and sisters to know when we talk about diasporans, when I say diasporans, I'm talking you could be South American, Caribbean, from the UK, US. We all are not in one same pot. There's a different lifestyle, a way of doing things. We do things a little bit different than what they may do in the UK. We
Mm-hmm.
may do things different than what they do in the Caribbean. We don't all have a unified style and way of doing something. We all have our own cultural differences,
Yeah.
although we are Africans. So you will see sometimes different YouTubers, they may gear or cater toward, wherever, their listeners are from. So like if I'm from the Caribbean, then I'm going to probably have a lot more Caribbean followers who are repatriating, and that part is fine. That's where you come from. You're going to do the same thing when you get over to the continent.
Mm-hmm.
But our continental brothers and sisters need to know that there are some differences. So the way that maybe one particular group from the diaspora respond or do certain things, that's not indicative of all of diasporans. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's rarely talked about.
Okay. This is one question from the same brother. He's really interested. And also, let me say this. Please make sure you go subscribe to Brother Jeron's channel. Hold on for a second. Let me get the channel's name.
The
Make sure you,
melanated Mr. Mosley.
okay, Mr. Mosley.
The melanated Mr. Mosley.
Okay. Let me hold on for a second. Let me get the direct link and I'll just put it in the stream. But this is what somebody was asking. Once you adapt in the Gambia, if you go ahead and do it, are you planning on homeschooling or attending the local school system?
Okay, let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
Homeschool your children.
Okay.
I think is very important for me because what we learn over here in the West is a Europeanized education system, which is the same thing in the Gambia. They have
Mm-hmm.
every other group of schools. They have Lebanese schools. I even think they have a Chinese school out there,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the Gambia. But there is nothing that teaches indigenous African education, Pan-Africanism. So you have to educate your own. Even Malcolm X, I have to sort of paraphrase it, but he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Only a fool will let his enemy educate his kids."
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
So me providing all that I know, I can only provide that from everything that I have learned thus far, but also my child must be able to know what has happened to those brothers and sisters that were ripped from the breast of Africa. That is
Mm-hmm.
very important, right? And while my child is there, I'll also learn about the different civilizations all throughout Africa, to learn history. But a lot of repat groups, many of us have different areas of expertise in education to where at some point we want to be able to get together to be able to have a Pan-African school, something we can actually call our own. And it's definitely going to be with the truth.
Okay.
It's not going to come with a anglicized narrative as most history does.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be the arsonist and the firefighter at the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's basically true. That's basically true. So
Educate your
please
own.
just go ahead and click on the link I just put below. Click on it on the link because like I said, I just want you to I want at least get 1K subscribers because this will basically motivate a lot of people since you are starting from the scratch to move. All those
Yes.
who are interested in doing the same can watch the process from point A to Z when you
Yes.
finally get there. So please make sure you go ahead and just subscribe to the brother's channel. And I wanted to ask one question. It just slipped my mind.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one question that just slipped my mind. But to add, okay. So this is what I wanted to say. I just remembered. So taking this journey, I know you have heard a lot about negative comment, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially on my channel, I see a lot of people who say, "Well, we are not Africans,"
Sure.
moving to the African continent, they just want our money. These people sold us, and oh yeah, I mean, a bunch of people who have that type of anger and different opinions. But then this is my question all the time. There are so many African diaspora who to move to Canada, Thailand, they move to Japan, and whenever they make videos about moving to these countries, we don't get these historical gurus that knows we are not Africans on their comments saying, "Oh, don't go to Japan because you are not a Japanese." But the moment you see a brother taking the step to move to an African continent, there we go. The historical gurus about you are not an African, so you shouldn't move there. Probably you have heard these few things. How did you overcome it?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm very used to dealing with adversity. Where I
Mm-hmm.
come from, you have to be battle tested, and you have to definitely have thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
I will never allow someone who doesn't know me tell me who I am.
Okay.
We've allowed colonizers to do that, so I'll be damned if allow my brother to be able to tell me something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I think that when I hear like comments like that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Africans, we have circumnavigated this earth before people even put it in books. So
Okay.
we have went and we have been everywhere. We have civilized this entire globe. We're responsible for that. So we all have a hand in that. If let's say if my wife and I, let's say we're on vacation and she happens to give birth in Japan, that child is
Mm-hmm.
not Japanese. That child is still African,
Right.
right? The language
Mm-hmm.
that you speak, even like let's say if we even just stay living there, you the language that you speak does not determine who you are, and it does not lessen you, as far as what your African heritage and culture is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm used to hearing ignorant statements and comments like that, but it's those limiting comments is why people don't get up and leave, why they
Right.
don't get up and go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that because of my belief system, a lot of people say that that God gives us free will, but I always say that the gift that God gave to me was the ability to change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Oh
don't
yeah.
allow and I don't allow other people to dictate. You should have naysayers and haters like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are self-defeating and those are self-hating comments that someone would try to tell another brother, but they wouldn't dare say that to a European that's coming over to Africa that wants
Okay.
to set up shop.
Mm-hmm.
We always have this thing where we want to be very assertive in addressing other Africans who may not necessarily have been born in Africa. But then we get very meek and very shy and silent when you have other groups who are exploiting you. We tend to hug their legs.
Mm-hmm.
We love them, but we fight ourselves. So to
So,
me, that's a self-defeating and self-hating comment. And people will say things all the time. I really don't care because guess what? I'm showing up, and
right.
I might be the very person that may set up some type of business that's going to benefit, and you're going to see the benefit of me working with the Gambian people. Then you
People.
might be wanting to ask me for a job later. So don't trip.
Yeah, and the reason why I even asked, yeah, that's true. The reason why I even asked the question, I had a brother from Brazil, right, made a comment
Mhm.
yesterday on my post, and he was like, "Well, when we talk about the diaspora, you guys leave out those in Brazil, out. You guys never talked about them." And
True.
when he made a comment, that's when I saw a brother from wherever he came from and said, well, you guys are Brazilians and you guys are not Africans and this. So why do you want to associate yourself with him? So basically they were going back and forth and I said, hey man, don't let anybody who have no idea about who you are to tell you who you are not. You see what I'm saying? Don't pay no mind to fools like that because they have a mentality they already stuck in. And why would they feel like they need to change yours? You see what I'm saying? If they feel like you
Right.
are wrong in the first place. So that's why I asked that question. Now, this question is to you. Could you break down the importance of staying on code and helping your fellow African brothers and sisters?
Okay. Are we talking all Africans? Are we talking from the diaspora repatriating? Or I'm not really sure what the question is, but the very best way that I can answer that,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of staying on code. Um, for me, the very first thing that comes to mind if I see a person that looks just like me
Mm-hmm.
is brother or sister, we have the entire world against us. There is no place in this world that we cannot go that we have not seen the maltreatment of Africans.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically, I must look out for you, you must look out for me, and we must together have our very best intentions at heart just to be able to protect ourselves from that. But then also, we need to be able to speak up when things are going on, and whenever there's an issue going on. Here in here in the U.S., when it comes to Black Americans, we are very upfront. We're definitely going to let you know when it's a problem, and that's psychologically that's what colonization has forced many people to do. You become outraged you become more forceful and you become more assertive in the way that you talk. So if we see
Mm-hmm.
something, we're definitely going to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the main discussions to be on code is we had something here in the U.S. During slavery. It was called meritorious manumission. And
Okay.
basically, that was a little code, that's this little flowery word for someone who thought that they were a slave, who would tell on other slaves because they thought that they would be more desirable in the slave master's eye. They were going to receive preferential treatment. So they
Mm-hmm.
thought they were going to get all this merit, but at the end of the day, they forgot you African too, and you can be killed just like everybody else. So we need to be able to identify who it is that we have in that community. And unfortunately, those people, when it comes to repatriation, they can definitely stay here in the US because we definitely don't need them. And
Mm-hmm.
and I'll show you how powerful that is when you remove someone that is not good for the group and that is not on code. When we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Haitian Revolution, I thought one of the most genius things that the general did, he says, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take over this island. We're going to kill some French people, but I need y'all to know that if you ain't with, doing this, go ahead and get the hell away. And what they did was they went on ahead. Anybody that were traitors and things like that, they were going to tell the slave master, went on
Mm.
ahead and off because they knew that that was going to be the most dangerous thing that was going to thwart their attempt to being able to take over the island or to become free.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to someone that looks like you, but it's not doing anything for the collective and has an individual mindset and will do anything at all costs to tear down their own person just so they can get this false status that they're closer to the white power structure.
Yep.
That is not being on code. And those are the people that, and what makes them dangerous is they know fully well what it is that they're doing. I can deal
Mm-hmm.
with someone who doesn't know any better because they
Right.
can be taught. But when you have someone who has made a wise and a conscious decision to undercut their own brother and sister just for any type of advancement,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that need to remain back here in the US and should not be a part of this. And dealing with people like that, those are the most dangerous and detrimental thing to all Africans,
Yeah.
continental and diasporan.
And what you just said just reminded me how the Western world painted Idi Amin, and all the people he killed, were they were Ugandans, and he killed his own people. But if you dig down in history, he was killing people who was selling them out to the
Mhm.
foreigners. You see what I'm saying? And because
Sure,
of that, they made him look like he was a demagogue, a devil, and all this
sure.
stuff. But he was just eliminating people that were not really trying to, fight for the same cause.
And that's what we were taught over here when you watch African media over here in the US. The same thing with Muammar Gaddafi. You
Hmm.
thought that all you heard was, oh my God, this is a warlord, people are dying, he's crazy, he's out of his mind. But when you began to look at Pan-Africanism, when you begin to look at how one day, Libya had absolutely nothing and then it became a thriving society where he says, I'm going to give my people are going to benefit from the resources from here.
Hmm.
And there was no one that was poor over
Hmm.
there. Now, of course, they may have other political issues, but that was very genius. For one, he was a revolutionary because it takes a lot. If you ever notice, revolutionaries really don't last long, but what makes a revolutionary stand out is that they're willing to take the brunt of it. They're willing to tear everything down just to build it back up.
Hmm.
We don't have that in this day and age. Really, you don't see a lot of that. You see a lot more people. You see a lot more people who are what's the word that I'm looking for? You see a lot more people who just want to go out there and just riot and be able to hold up signs, and it does not change anything. That's just
Anything.
like a temper tantrum. We're
Hmm.
talking a full-on revolution, and we haven't had really any real leaders to date that is willing to commit to putting themselves on the line. And here in the US, we had almost two separate I'm going to say separate factions. You had a peaceful, and then you had more like okay, we're going to bring it to your chest and we're going to, definitely defend ourselves. We are not afraid of you, right?
Hmm.
So Then you have the more peaceful one. And here in the US, we tend to love the more peaceful and the more docile, the one that keeps getting harmed, but still, turning around and hugging.
Mm.
You're hugging oppressors and things like
Yeah.
that. But if you ever notice that the most people that preached nonviolence has died violently.
Yeah.
So and those were not held as heroes, by the way. It was always usually docile African Americans who were considered to be true heroes and everything. So Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey and people like that, people that saying, "Oh, I'm not taking none of this crap. This is what my people need," and things like that. We were not taught about any of that type of stuff. But see, those are the ones that people tend to tear down and say, "Oh no, those were extremists." It's always extreme when Black people advocate for themselves. It's
Hmm.
always extreme, when you speak up about a certain issue and you try to demand action behind it. And we've been fighting and demanding action for so long, and we still get the same result. It's like being in a hamster wheel. And at
Hmm.
some point, you just want to stop, take a rest, and just get out of it all completely. And that's something that I chose to do.
Do. And what you just said brought this question in mind. People
Mhm.
say, especially I watch your brother's channel, and he was saying, I mean, a lot of people do say, especially those who don't believe in moving to the African continent.
Mhm.
People say, why would you run to the African continent instead of staying here to fight? Now, what is your comment on this?
Kind of goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier. For me, it's not running. I'm pretty much doing the same thing when we were ripped from the breast of Africa, just to be able to get back.
Okay.
For me, there is no running. I'm not. I Historically, we have been taught that there is nothing that we can contribute, although those are lies.
Mm-hmm.
But we we're like the lowest class of human beings. That's how America always wanted us to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone doesn't want you somewhere, we used to get racial slurs as kids talking about go back to Africa. And when people would hear that, it would result in a fight. But we didn't actually stop to think, well, yeah, that would be a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
But we were pretty much dominated by what was in media about, oh, it's very desolate over there. People are lowly. People have full of disease and they're dying. But then when I watch other commercials, you see European people on the beaches over in Africa. So, you're lying to me. So for me, it's not running. It's something that I am called upon. For me, I feel that's what I'm mandated to do. That's what I
Mhm.
owe to my ancestors. You can stay here all you want. I
Well,
mean, you can fight another 400 or 500 years. Have
yeah.
at it. Okay.
And this is it.
Not everybody's gonna go.
And see, this is what I always think, and I believe they say that out of either one, they
Mhm,
cannot do it themselves, or two, it's just from a place of fear themselves. People tend to fear what they don't understand, because if the
mhm,
same African diaspora is moving to Canada or
mhm.
Japan, they don't raise the same quotation about why you should stay here and fight. Why you running to Japan? They don't say until you go into an African country. So there's a bias in this type of analogy about stay and fight. And first of all, even though I'm not from the US,
Right,
you can clearly see the system was not built for inclusion. So I'm saying
correct,
it was not built for us to be included anyway. So there's
correct,
nothing like fighting to win anything. You have to
correct.
choose your battles and know which one you can win. There's no way you will feel you can fight for 600 years and win to be included in a system that was built without including you. So I
Sure.
mean, yeah,
So you're staying and fighting, and then what?
yeah,
Okay, I mean, do you stay? For me, I sort of liken it, I loosely liken this experience to being like in a domestic violence
hmm
relationship.
hmm
Because no matter how many times you get abused, you get slapped around, you get beaten, you have
hmm
empty promises that they're sorry and this is what we're going to do to correct it. We just had a little misunderstanding, and then we're like, oh, okay, all right, thank you, and we're right back in that abusive relationship over and over again. And many people that have been abused like that will look and tell the other person, oh, you better not leave. Oh, you need to stay. That's you're in a better situation than anyone else, right? I'm not running. I refuse to be in that situation. Now, I will say that here it is. I'm 41 years of age. I'm 41, and I'm really upset. And I kind of harbor this little bit of resentment with myself because why didn't I do this a long time ago?
Right.
Why didn't I do it a long time ago? However, I think that the creator has put many circumstances in my life to help battle test me. It's like being in the military. You know, they're going to break you, they're going to yell in your face, they're going to do everything they can to try to see what type of person that you are. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that being battle tested has prepared me and led me to this moment to be emotionally and mentally prepared for what it is that I'm going to have to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and somebody said we are not running. We see home, and it's coming into a view now. Um,
Absolutely.
um, somebody said I already bought my property in Africa. My family and I are out of here, and somebody said sometimes because of envious, and because sometimes when people will try to discourage you for the fact that they cannot do what you're trying to do, it's always like that. And then, he said there seems to be a positive awakening happening with African people globally. Why do you think it is?
I think uh, I don't know where people's spirituality lies, but I think that that is totally the ancestors. Here in the United States, there's a certain area, like in the southern part of the U.S., where
Mhm.
it was former. It was like near a body of water down south, where you had a lot of white people falling off the boat, drowning, and stuff like that. And that happened to be old slave land where they would actually slaughter some of the slaves, where they would break them and do a whole bunch of different horrendous things to them. And
Mhm.
I think that the ancestors is kind of like, okay, I mean, you talking about the year of return that happened last year, and it's very ironic that it was almost like this large exodus. It was something that was being sparked in the minds of Africans.
Mhm.
And I think that you have to be blessed to have the ears and the spirit and the heart to be able to heed and follow those ancestors' call. And
Mhm.
that's what I mean. And that's what I mean by not everyone is going to be able to go, because you have people still sitting here wondering, like, hey, I'm making all this money over here. I'm making this. I'm making that. Um, I follow the traditional ways here in the U.S. I managed to stay out of a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
Ended up going to college, getting an undergrad, and then getting my grad degree. Had a very lengthy career, and then opened up my own business. If I'm
Mhm.
willing to get up and walk away from that, that was because I've seen things and that I know things about this place that I am totally unwilling to deal with, let alone raising and bringing up another child in this environment to have to live and do that. So at least I think that I can make that conscious decision to change that circumstance. Now, when I get to Africa, it may have a brand new set of challenges, but I would rather go through that at home than
Mhm.
actually have to go through that here. We do
Yeah.
all of this work to not get anything in return. We're staying and we're fighting for something that we still don't own, that we never will. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to reparations, I still will be getting some of that. Don't trip.
Yeah.
But I want all of that, because I
Yeah.
need to be able to now invest that. And I think that our ancestors knew specifically what was going to happen when we came.
Mhm.
You're going to have a group that's going to go over here to endure all of this stuff just so they can return to be able to warn brothers and sisters and to stand side by side over in the continent to say, you will not come over to Africa and do the same thing that you have done and replicate that which has occurred over in the U.S.
Yeah.
So,
And
and I'm not saying like savior or anything like that. I think that it's certain groups
mhm.
that had to go through something just so they can come back and tell a brother or sister. It's a dereliction of duty to go through something and not warn and tell another brother or sister.
And this is what I also will say in addition to what you just said. You've been here for 41 years, right?
Yes.
41 years.
Mhm.
You've lived basically, you've had all the taste of America anyway. There's nothing new to experience. So even if you're not moving to the African continent because of a calling, but just because you wanted to do it, there's nothing wrong with it. 41 years in the US, you have experienced enough. There's nothing new here.
Correct.
Basically you can go and say, well, I'm just going for an adventure and I just want to explore another world. You see what I'm saying? So either way, however you look at making this move, there's nothing wrong with it.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
Prophet said African people, foreign and domestic, suffer from the ASOS syndrome. We don't respect our birthright, Africa.
Okay. So he went biblical on you and everything. So Esau pretty much sold his brother, I believe it was for a bowl of porridge.
Yeah.
Something that I also understand about the Bible, when it speaks about 144,000 are going to actually make it home.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that means, again, not everyone is going to come. There's one path that leads to paradise and thousands lead to hell.
Yeah.
So only a very few are going to be able to heed that call and to be able to do something about it. You have the other people who don't heed that call, who will say, I want to stay here and I want to fight. I've been fighting since I came out of my mother's womb for 41 years, and I think I'm a little bit done. So we can have someone else go ahead and go
Yeah.
ahead and take part of this illusion fight that you're never going to win. That's why it's called that's why it's called racism, because it is a race. And apparently there's a group that has a 400-year head start, and we are
Mm-hmm.
never going to catch up.
Yeah.
When we talk about equality, you will never be equal,
Cool.
period. So I don't know what this illusion that the people are waiting for something to fall out of the sky. No one owes you anything. We have built all of America, so we already know we have the ingenuity to do it over in Africa. We have the ingenuity over here, as does Africa. Africa has the resource. Without Africa, the world has a heart attack because Africa is the heartbeat of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of the division, the great lengths that people actually go to separate us is always done for a reason, because they know fully well you would not have anything. It would just be lifeless.
Mm-hmm.
This entire earth would be lifeless if it was not for African people.
Mm-hmm. And somebody said all the money Bill Cosby made did not save him or his son. It
Mhm.
did. And somebody said not everyone will want to go and not everyone should go. That's definitely true. And
Thank you, sister. I agree with you.
and somebody said from the womb that hit me hard, brother. Pure truth. Somebody said equal to what? You see what I'm saying? This
Absolutely.
equal to
Yeah.
what? Somebody said we can make Africa a super continent, and like I always said, the reason why Marcus Garvey knew it from the beginning. That's why he had the Return Back to Africa movement. Looking at the African continent right now, like I said, there are so many opportunities right now. Europeans have been exploiting it for years, right? If you've been in this country for 20 years and you have worked in corporate America, you have basically experienced what you're supposed to experience anyway. Why don't you give yourself, your family, and maybe your next generation a chance to also experience something different? There's nothing wrong with it. Change is a must, but it's difficult because sometimes some people are just too comfortable with staying average.
Yeah. Have you ever asked yourself, brother, or have you ever considered that you and I, all of
Hmm.
us Africans that are currently living, that we're actually an ancestor in progress?
Hmm.
Things that you do right now is going to have a ripple effect on everyone that comes after you, be it if it's your own seed or if it's people from your own community. Your actions and inactions are going to have some type of impact or even an adverse effect on generations to come. So
Hmm.
me making that decision right now to return, let's say if I have my family in Africa,
Hmm.
I now have my family. My legacy is beginning in Africa, and
Yeah.
it's going to remain there, right? So always think about everything that you do, that you are an ancestor in progress.
Okay.
Take that in very high, hold that in very high regard.
Hmm.
Because I'm sure back then our ancestors didn't believe that they were ancestors. The
Yeah.
sad part is that many of them knew what their fate was going to be, but they still muscled through it and went on ahead and says, you know what, I might not live to see what the end result is, but I know I'm making it better for someone. And then we just continuously advance and we continue, try to move up. I look at where life is for myself and for many of us. I think that when you had slaves laying up in the slave shacks, their backs are open wounds from being whipped and beaten,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking up at a hole inside of a shack, and you see a black sky with stars. And in those few moments, they're just thinking, they had this desire, like, man, if I didn't have this, I would know how to read. I would have my own land, my family, we
Mm-hmm.
could live in peace. And we are the manifestation of some of those things that our ancestors have actually opened up for us, but we don't embrace those as such. We do a lot of disrespectful things like, well, I just want to just live this way and don't want to educate myself on who I am or where I came from. Oh, I don't want to learn about all this African stuff because none of that matters because that happened a long time
Long
ago.
ago.
Again, um, we are the living dream of a slave that did not get the chance to actually see it. It is your responsibility to carry that torch and start a brand new life.
Carry
Now,
on tradition.
yeah, and I know when it comes to carrying on tradition, um, the unfortunate part, the reason why also here in America, why everybody isn't going to go is we have a lot of different restrictions systematically why Black people can't get up and leave. If you
Mm-hmm.
have a felony, you can't get a passport. If you owe more than $2,500 in child support, you cannot leave. So what group do you really think that targets? So let's go ahead and stay and endure all this abuse, and then you can't leave on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are many people who would definitely benefit from beginning and uprooting and having a new life, reconnecting to who they are and where they come from, to be able to know a sense of community, to know that you should be incapable of committing crime and harm to another group, especially with someone that looks like you. So
Mm-hmm.
we deny people chances, we deny them opportunities to be able to get employment, just to be able to have a healthy living for themselves, to make those decisions if they want to return or not. So, I think this is really, it's really messed up, and I'm doing it for my brothers who cannot go. I'm doing it for my sisters who feel as if they are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing it for everyone who is unable to probably make this journey, to know that, hey, I came from the same area as you. As a matter of fact, this is my shirt right here. Let me go ahead and show it right here. Let me see if I'll
Okay.
say it. Okay. It
Okay.
says,
Compton
yeah,
versus yeah.
Compton versus everybody. Okay.
Okay.
That type of mentality we have always had. When it comes to being in crime-ridden areas, impoverished, the very last on the list to get any type of resources, naturally, we have always fended for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's in our blood, that we feel that we have to have that type of passion to not let anyone take advantage of us, to disrespect us, to love who we are.
Okay.
And
And
when you have that mindset, brother, it's something very powerful, but it can only be powerful when you actually have more people who are on code doing it and exercising.
okay. And somebody was saying, we should have you back on here because everything you're saying is really resonating and very amazing to them. And this brother said, why is having principles so important in this day and age for Black people around the world?
Ooh, okay. Why is having principles so important in this day and age for Black people?
Mm-hmm.
Your principles are like your moral compass.
Okay.
You need to be able to operate within those values. Unfortunately, we have had colonizers and systematic oppression that taught us what those values are. What are those
Mm-hmm.
values? We like to be entertained more than rather than being informed.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's really know. We have to have little platforms like this because, unfortunately, you should be having more people subscribing and watching and putting thumbs up, but they're busy right now probably watching a video where somebody is twerking.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching a video right now about who got shot. They're watching a video right now about the latest drama and different things like that. That's what's important. And we, for some reason, love to be entertained rather than being informed because it's more convenient just to not deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So having a set of morals and values is very important in this day and age because there is a clear rift that we can do anything we want to. We can do it in front of your face. We can do it on camera. We can do whatever. And all you're going to want to do is probably march and then hug the person that actually ended up harming you.
Okay.
So, you need to have your own sets of values. When you get back to being around your own people and definitely being on code, we will definitely, I think, just naturally return back to a state where it's like I need to be able to do something for the collective and not for myself. To know that you are a part of something, to know that you have a responsibility to always hold up African culture in a positive light and not have to fulfill those same stereotypes. You don't have to be a living stereotype.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one thing you said that just came in mind growing up is you said principles are your morals are just your life compass, right? And
Mhm.
growing up, everything that I have become today was because my dad gave us principles, that we should
Yes,
follow. He basically coached us on what we should be doing and what we should not be doing, paying attention. And so growing up, I always find myself to be spending more time doing the necessary instead of mingling with things that basically will not contribute to my growth. So that really
you're right.
helped me get to this level. So I think my add-on will be having principles is really important because it shapes your dream, it keeps you focused, and definitely you will get to that position or destination you're trying to get to.
Definitely. And don't get me wrong, as we grow as human beings, those things tend to morph. They tend to shape who we are, our decision making. Um, Now, I don't know your age, brother, but I can say when you were 18, were you making the same decisions and had the same train of thought than you do now?
Say it again.
I said, the age that you are now, think back to when you were 18. Are you that same person that you
No,
were when you were 18?
no.
Correct. And that's what I tell a lot of young brothers and sisters is that you were constantly evolving. You may be set in your ways, but I told you that I've been blessed, by the creator to have the ability to change my mind and how I move and how I do certain things. So when you're 18, from the age of 18 to 21, you are a completely different person. When you turn 21, you laughing at all the silly stuff that you did when you were 18. And
Mm-hmm.
then from 21 to 25, you say, man, I could have went to jail for doing something stupid like that, or whatever the case may be. But
Right.
you're constantly evolving,
Mm-hmm.
and that demonstrates that you have enough growth. You have the wherewithal inside of you to be very mindful of your behavior and things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and you just want to kind of tweak it a little bit. Um, you know, I had so many things that have occurred in my childhood that many people probably would never be able to maybe recover from.
Okay.
But I look at all those things and I say, you know what? I can only have nothing but gratitude for going through all of that because that made me a well rounded person. It made me a stronger person, but it
Mm-hmm.
also made me a person that cares enough to warn another brother and sister about something, with things that have occurred with me, but also just to warn people about, hey, um, this is what the end result is going to be. I have read
Mm-hmm.
this book before. So that kind of gets misconstrued when you have people that go over to African continent because they say that when the diaspora gets over here, they're preachy. They will always want to have a better way and want to tell us how to live our lives. And I want to say that that part is not true.
It's
We're
not.
just we are just a lot more passionate when we see nonsense by people trying to take advantage of you and trying to harm you in a very subtle way. We already know what that looks like. And just standing aside and allowing someone to do something like that, that's very triggering. That's a traumatic experience for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need to have our brothers and sisters to be more trauma informed to know that we're not doing that just out of selfishness or self-righteousness. We're doing that because again, we have seen this before. If you've seen a child get hit by a car, every time you see a child playing in the street and aimlessly wandering in the street, you're going to have that sense of anxiety that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to respond accordingly. Now, you may have some people, oh my God, why is this person, why are they getting, really animated and really upset about seeing that? It's because we have been through that. We have seen that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to add, it just slipped my mind is oh, it just slipped my mind. But let me just read some of the comment in case maybe I just remembered it. Somebody said, wow, tell them we'd rather be entertained than informed.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. And then a lot of us don't want to put in the work to be informed. We'd rather allow those who have historically system told us half truth and falsehood. We let them inform us instead of seeking for ourselves. And then Prophet Templin said, everything we do comes back to us. Believe me, I'm 67 years old. Genesis 1 2 is describing a reciprocal circle. Um, we have to get away from the colonized mindset. And someone said they need to let us go. They don't want us to be there, but they don't want us to go. Okay.
Correct.
Um,
That's what an abusive person does, by the way. Whenever you want to try and get up and leave, they give you empty promises to make you want to stay.
mm,
And that's how we have a lot of these newly fabricated minorities here in the U.S. You know, they tend to get more rights and resources way before we do. And it's like someone cutting in line at a grocery store. You can probably let somebody get in. And the way that we do it here in America, unfortunately, is you're standing in a grocery line
mm-hmm,
and you only have a few things in your cart. You know, you've been in that store. In fact, you even helped construct and build the store.
mm-hmm,
And then you have maybe 2 or 3 people behind you that says, "Hey, I have a whole shopping cart over here. Can I go ahead and get in front of you?"
mm-hmm.
So you want to be nice because we're very loving and caring people. You know, that's just our African nature and
Right.
forgiving. Sure, sir, go ahead and go. And then the next person says, "Well, if you let that person in front, well, can I go ahead? I have 3 shopping carts. Let me go ahead and get in front." And before you know it, your food is spoiled, your family is hungry, you have absolutely nothing, and you're continuously, when you try to advocate to the store manager about, what's going on, they just still allow people to cut in front of you.
Mm-hmm. And that's that. I mean, basically, that's so true. Sometimes, like I said, you get used to something so bad, you just don't want to change. And my
Mhm.
dad always used to say, "Only a fool doesn't change his mind," But I just remember what I wanted to say about. You said some people are just basically not trying to learn. I forgot, but I had that idea from listening to Nas song. It's called Second Childhood. Basically, we made a reference about me being 18 years and now I don't think the same. He made a song called Second Childhood, and listening to what he was basically saying is some people still grow to 35 years and still want to live like they're 18 years. They never let the 18 years life and mindset go. They still live in their
Mhm.
second childhood, being 35, 40, and still want to be like a child.
Correct.
Yeah.
You were getting a little bit choppy right there, and that's something that I always bring up. You're fine now, but anytime melanated and African folks start having really excellent dialogue, this screen begins to freeze up. It begins to have all these little technical challenges and stuff. But if Brother Daniel and I were talking about the very next person and have all this drama and all of that stuff that we definitely don't need, this channel will play real smoothly and it will run real fine.
Yeah, but that I mean that's what I've been talking about. But we'll still get it done. But I mean you said that I mean that's smart. I've seen a lot of people being 40 years, 50 years, and they still have that 18 years old mindset. So second childhood, some people don't want to leave it behind, and they never grow. So despite people growing up, they've seen a lot of bad images about Africa. They had all this propaganda and all this stuff. Despite being maybe 40 years, they're still stuck in
Mhm.
the same mindset and never wants to even put in the effort to search and find out these things that I've been taught, these things that has become my truth. Because when one lie is being told multiple times, it tends to be somehow the truth to the people. So now that you are grown, people don't even put in effort to look for, okay, what are the side of Africa that I never saw? You see what I'm saying? And they're still around with that. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to chip in.
Yeah, sometimes people's truth is their reality. Their environment is their reality.
Hmm.
So if every time when I wake up and I go outside of my house and I see homeless people, I see drug addicts, I see gang members, I see police, I see the ambulance, picking somebody up and putting them in the ambulance and hauling them off. If I see people constantly dying in my community, and I go to my cousin's house and they live on the other side of town and they're seeing the same thing, and then I leave the state and I go to a different hood and that's still the same thing that's going on,
Hmm.
and then that becomes reality because it becomes the expectation that that happens to everyone. And so to be able to take someone out of an environment that I grew up in and expose them to something completely different. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So in the city of Compton is probably no more than maybe 15 miles, maybe from a body of water or even like a beach.
Okay.
And there are people that have not even been outside of their city blocks because they're either afraid that they're going to be killed because they may be in rival gang territory, or they just have to be confined to this little bubble. And
Mhm.
here it is, something beautiful that they have never seen that's only just, within arm's reach to actually get to. So our reality is also environmental. If your mother and father have been in and out of jail, if you have any involvement with the criminal justice system or been in a broken family, and
Mhm.
that's generational, you grew up in the same housing projects, your grandmother, your mother, um, that becomes your reality, that becomes your expectation. You're not going to want to aim high maybe and do something else. Not
Mhm.
saying that, and I'm not saying that everyone that has lived in those type of environments cannot flourish, because I'm definitely a product of that. And
Okay.
my mother is a product of that, because she chose to actually break a cycle and say, you know what, when I have my child, this is what I do not want for my child. My mother cared about me and loved me enough to make that decision to say, not my child. Damn what
Mhm.
everyone else is doing, even some of my close friends, and even some maybe close relatives. I want my child to have this type of life. And my mother had lived by that principle. And honestly, I don't know any other way, because now I have to be able to carry that on and do that for my own children,
Yeah.
God willing.
Okay. And this is somebody just said this question is for me. They said, I have a question for the host. Why is having intelligent discussions with great guests like Mr. Mosley so important to you? Well, to me, I've always believed, there's a big gap between, Africans on the continent and the ones in the diaspora. And the big gap is basically caused by lack of communication. So I believe having these type of communications and interacting, getting people to really watch, bring in their thought and opinions, bring us more closer to understanding who we are from both, from both sides. So I believe these conversations is very good. It's like a therapy for a lot of people going through the dilemma on what, making decisions on what to do. So they see a brother actually doing it, representing a dream they actually want to partake in. It helps them make a better choice.
Correct. And I'll also piggyback on what you said. And what makes it important to have discussions like this on this platform, there are different YouTubers content that I may review or follow, and what I absolutely admire, love, and respect from this platform is we actually have a brother from the continent. Here it is, all this time. I know that I have felt on occasion that why is it that only foundational Black Americans are having this discussion? We love Africa more than anything else. We have always been very patriotic toward Africa, having never even been there. But to be able to care enough to say, I am from the continent and I want to be able to engage. So now we don't feel as if it's us. We at
Hmm.
least have the comfort of knowing that, man, we got a brother over here who is, I mean, you got brother Daniel, who is unabashed and unafraid to have these kind of discussions, to have these discussions.
Hmm.
And, and it sort of complements really the style of how foundational Black Americans do. It's like, if there's an issue, if there's something going on, a family discussion, we gonna go ahead and get this out, because this can no longer carry on. And you have
Hmm.
had some excellent content that has been very thought provoking. And I noticed that, when you definitely doing your thing, I mean, these, you getting these thumbs up, you got people flooding and everything like that. Congrats to you, by the way, on your accomplishment there, brother,
Oh, no, no
with
problem.
your subscribers and everything like that. But I learned that you care about putting out healthy and meaningful content. It is not about the likes. It is not about the subscribers. And if it's anything that I know, real recognizes real. That's what's most important to you. And
Yeah.
anybody that is doing something um, to promote the embetterment of African people, I'm definitely all for that. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of content like that. So I dare say I consider you to be a pioneer in definitely doing what it is that you're doing.
Okay.
And it makes me very proud. And it also gives me a sense of comfort to know that, man, I can actually speak with another African brother from the continent who actually understands and gets what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
um my journey started from Facebook years ago, I think
Mhm.
4 years ago. And like I said, I basically started taking this step when I realized the first African diaspora that I met, that was after high school. That was the first time I met, an African diaspora. And basically he was so kind to me. He gave me $600 for free to start a website for my business. So I'm saying, when basically my brothers on the continent couldn't even do it, right? So when he
Beautiful.
showed me, that love, he had a lot of questions about the African continent. He kept asking things, and I'm like, wow. So he's clueless about all these things. So I basically, devoted my time to make sure we need to have these conversations so we can come, on the same like-minded stage, and that will really help us, because if you really understand my pain, that's when I started learning about the history and all this stuff. But a lot of people on the African continent might not really be sensitive to these topics and don't want to touch it, simply because they're not really putting their legs in their diaspora shoes to feel how it is. And you have to
Yeah.
do it to sit down and say, if I was him, how would I feel? And having this come up conversations will basically bring us together closer than we think. At the end of the day, it will eliminate the differences. Yeah.
Correct. And I also want to say that I really appreciate the fact, I think it was about a week ago, where
Okay.
you had the dialogue with continental Africans about our brethren over here. How do we feel about the repatriation? What barriers? What are your personal hangups? When we talk about repatriation and what that looks like, and how do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
Those are very difficult discussions to have, and you were able to do it with continental Africans, and we're able to do it over here on this end too. But to be able to marry the two issues and everything. So yeah, continue, brother. Definitely continue to do what you're doing. You inspire me. I'm a fan and a subscriber like anyone else, and
Yeah.
I chose to chronicle and document my journey because you do see like a lot of YouTube channels that have a lot of people who may be repatriating even to the Gambia as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes my program just a little bit different is that I'm coming from the West Coast.
Okay.
If you know anything about the U.S., people from the West Coast are different than people down south. We do things different than people on the East Coast, in many different places. So to be able to chronicle that journey from what I had to go through and deal with on this end, I talk about getting my stuff, looking for a storage container. And some of the more content that I'm going to be putting out is going to show you all of the roadblocks that I had in the process. And I said, you know what? I was really ambivalent, like, should I put it out? I've never put anything out there on YouTube. And you actually inspired me. You just said, just simply put it out. Someone cares enough. Someone will care to hear what it is that you may have to share.
Mm-hmm. And
And I said, okay. And you also told me that, don't focus on who likes it and, how many subscriptions and stuff. And that gave me almost kind of like that gave me the mental license to just say, Mr. Mosley, it's okay. Just go ahead and put it out. The truth is going to be the truth,
yeah.
even if nobody believes it.
And this is when I started YouTube and all this stuff. This has always been me, right? I'm not selfish, very selfless when it comes to giving information out. I feel like we can do better if we can share the good things that happen to us with our brothers and sisters. They can also enjoy the same thing, right? So if I do something that really works for me, all my brothers around me, I share the same information. I never leave out. I never hide information. And when I started YouTube, basically everyone was saying reach out to this channel to promote. And I'm the type of person, I feel like, if you love what I'm doing, your natural state of mind will tell you to support the brother. I don't have to come to you. You see what I'm saying? And the
Correct.
fact that when you became when you joined this channel, I remember, it was, I wasn't even at 10,000. I was around like, maybe 4,000 subscribers. And I remember, every time on the live, you give $100, you give me a $300. And I'm like, if somebody really doesn't appreciate what you're doing, there's no way they would donate or they will give out $300 on a life. You see what I'm saying? So it was something that I always appreciated you for doing it, and it just keeps me doing it more. So when I saw you, you said, you tested me, you said, oh, you know what, I'm about to make that move. I'm like, nah, you need to get the channel up, because it's really important to also share your journey so people can also follow your steps. And then you're not just doing it for yourself, but you inspire a lot of people to take the same step. So
Yeah.
it's very important.
Yeah, and that has been the very best advice that you have actually that's been the very best advice that you've actually given me.
Hmm.
And I had received an email from someone who had subscribed to my channel.
Okay.
I only put it up. I only posted like 2 days ago, and
Hmm.
I do see like a steady increase and everything. But they had like a litany of questions about my journey, and I just reminded them, hey, I'm not a YouTuber. I just happen to be on YouTube and stuff. But they had actually, they said, you know what, it makes a lot of sense. I'm also here in California as well. And, you and the Happy Companion who has his channel are definitely some brothers that I really want to be able to follow your content, because I believe that what it is that you have to share is definitely going to be beneficial to a lot of people here on the West Coast and maybe people, around the world. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't ever go out and put something out to receive anything in return. If I believe in something, I am always going to support it. And for
Hmm.
me, with for your channel, it wasn't about the money. What I looked at it was the information that you provide with us. You are in essence, you are a consultant, and because you are a consultant, I mean, we wouldn't bat an eye if we go and purchase those consultant services from, a Chinese person, a Lebanese, or a European person. We dare, say, oh, wow, how come that, why this much and why that? You're providing a service. And just me putting together my very first YouTube video, the amount of work that had to go into that, I can already imagine. I cannot answer a whole bunch of text messages and emails
Hmm.
and things like that. Um, and what I didn't share, it wasn't just one person. It was about maybe 30 people that emailed me. And I haven't even got done looking at the emails and
Emails.
everything they have sent me. And I'm saying, man, I think I might need to put something else out, because now people are like, okay, I need to see what the very next step is. So it has been a process just trying to put everything together. But even at this very early start, I can already empathize with you, brother, that when you get the amount of subscribers and everything that you do, that it is a lot of work that you put into it, but it actually shows in the quality of the product that you actually put out. So it's always a blessing to have people give thumbs up if they go on my page or give and subscribe and everything. And just know that responsibly, I will definitely put out information that matters to melanated people. And I'm
Okay.
very particular about that. Anyone can view the content, but melanated people, that is where my heart, my focus, and my main passion is.
Hmm.
Talking about African issues, definitely that's what's going to be on that channel. I'm not going to talk about other things that have overshadowed issues here in my community that have
Hmm.
nothing to do with the betterment of my people.
Okay. And then before you answer this question, I just wanted to chip in.
Sure.
Sometimes I just don't mean to be mention in this channel name. But I remember putting out a content, and one YouTube channel made a comment. It was about automatic citizenship, and they basically came under the comment. They attacked me. They said, well, because of little YouTube money, you doing this, you doing that. And what most people don't understand is I'm very young, right? I understand I'm young, I'm not too old. But I have basically had my own business for 4 years now. I made enough money to a extent where YouTube money is not something that will make me
Correct.
take a camera and spend about 4 hours to write a script, edit, shoot the
Correct.
video, and put it out there. If you don't have the love for it, you can never do this. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
You can do it because it
Correct.
can be mentally draining. And what I'll say is most people are out there who really have something within them that I really want to talk about. If it's for a revolutionary purpose, remember you're not doing it for yourself. So you don't have to be selfish. You have to remember how many people you'll be impacting and changing. And in
Correct.
our community, we need a lot of people to do what we're doing right now. Because, if you pay attention, this will just, change a lot of people's mindset, help a lot of people to see things differently in a positive way, which will just, create a better environment for us to grow. So, when you're doing it, my advice is, everyone should go and subscribe to your channel. But one thing is, on
Appreciate it.
YouTube, don't pay attention to the subscribers. I mean, you
Correct.
can tell them to subscribe for growth, motivation. But if it's not really going up there, remember, you need people who believe in the journey and, agree with the message, and not just anybody on the platform.
Correct. And your platform makes many of us feel very quaint.
Mm-hmm.
It is more of a, this is your brother talking to you. You ain't in some big old studio where you got wonderful lights and people bringing you tea and you're sitting at a director's chair. This is at its very core and essence what it is that we love about your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's very quaint. It's very personable. We feel like we're talking to you when we're listening, like you're just like right across from us. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that mental or emotional type of disconnect. It's like you were actually there because you talk about real, substantial, meaningful things.
Mm-hmm. So somebody asks, are you planning on visiting other African countries once you settle down in
Oh
the
heck
Gambia?
yeah! Oh heck yeah! It's always been something about Chad that I've always wanted to see. Um, Ethiopia, of course, Eritrea,
Okay.
um, and I would probably say Angola. If
Okay.
anything gets kind of cleared up, with whatever they may have going, I think Angola, because I have a lot of that in my DNA. The majority of my DNA is actually Cameroonian,
Okay.
so Cameroon as well. So hell, I want to go all of the places. I haven't even scratched the surface with just being in Gambia. Now that I
Mm-hmm.
go there, it's a lot easier to fly to some of those other areas. A lot cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Somebody said I have a home at Paradise Estate. He probably in the Gambia.
I've
This is
heard of that.
I'm in the West Coast too. Um, yeah. So this is what I'll say. If you on here, we have 195 people watching.
Oh,
Please just go ahead and subscribe to Brother Mosle's channel. And at the end of the day, pay attention to the Z. It will really help you get some informations on how to do stuff if you intend to take the same journey as well. And I mean, on this social platform, it's all about promoting good content and also bringing people on the same team together. Because at the end of the day, I don't see the reason why you have to reach out to me to even promote the good thing you're doing. Because at the end of the day, I don't lose a subscriber if they subscribe to your channel. You see what I'm saying? I don't lose
correct.
nothing.
Correct.
It's just showing gratitude for the effort you put in. You see what I'm saying? So if you check
Appreciate
my community, I just share content that I think if I feel connected to the content, I just share it. You see what I'm saying? So let's just make sure we go ahead and subscribe, and let's just take the spirit of jealousy and selfishness. We can only move forward if you become selfless and say, how do I devote my time being on here and help as many people as I can? Sometimes it's not all about money. It could be your
Right.
time, your motivations and all that stuff. So please just go
Right.
ahead and subscribe. It's right there. Just go ahead and subscribe, and
Sure.
let's just get his journey on there so you can follow the same if you want to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you asking for his channel, that's the channel's name right there.
Correct. It's the Melanated Mr. Mosley, and I've heard that when some people, if they click on it, it'll say Jerron Mosley. That's my name, Jerron Mosley. It's that
Okay.
same link. Just go ahead and click on it, and then it'll take you to the Melanated Mr. Mosley. It's just going to take a little bit of time just for that name to actually migrate and populate to, be able to say the Melanated Mr. Mosley.
Okay.
But I managed to find that and look it up. So
Okay.
you put in Melanated Mr. Mosley in Google or what have you, and it's going to come up with my name. Just click on that, takes you to the Melanated Mr. Mosley.
Okay. This brother, I think he's from Gambia. He's called Pastor Salim. He said, would you need any type of help?
I'm always interested to see what's being offered. I do have a few things already set in place.
Okay.
One of the main things I believe that once I get settled in is just really to kind of navigate around, because it's really a who you know type of deal when you get out there. And I would like to be able to have a Gambian connect while in Gambia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because even, I can get information from repats and everything, but it could be still incorrect information. I can have other people who repatriate who are there for other reasons. So it'll only benefit me to be able to connect also with Gambian brothers and sisters. That's the main purpose of it.
Okay.
So
And
you
so
can help me with Wolof too, by the way, if you speak Wolof. So
yeah. Okay, so if you have any email that people want to reach out to you, they can, in case they have any questions, that you can shoot, because maybe they can help you with
sure,
the type of video you can put out for them as well, in case they say, hey, how do you do this, and then you can make a video about it to help them as well. So your email, and then we can wrap it up, and yeah, because
sure. I just
I've took
actually,
you, I've had you here for an hour and 41 minutes.
you don't even feel like that. I didn't
Yeah.
even know. Like, okay, when I got on, I said, okay, I'm just going to pretty much share my heart where I am. And thank you, Sister Deborah Moore. I see that right there. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
so, but it just, again, everything flowed, became very natural for me. And, I really appreciate what it is that you've done. And rest assured that it's somebody that's tuning in right now that later on may want to start their YouTube and may reach out to me. And that's what we have to do. It's like, reaching back. And I have seen quite a few Gambian YouTubers who were in relative obscurity. No one knew who they were. And it just took, just a little bit of, someone saying, hey, you know what? I see what you're doing. Let's go ahead and I'll put you on my platform.
Oh,
And then they in turn began to do that. And that's how you lift one another up, because it's not about us. It's for the betterment of African people to get that content out there, to get that truth out there. It's not
mhm.
about us. It is about the collective. So
Yeah.
that's what I intend to responsibly also do, and I'll try to help to the very best of my ability to anyone.
Okay. So just give us your last word, and we'll close this chat. Your last word to everyone watching, and all those, basically who would love to follow your journey on your channel.
Sure. Okay. So my name is Jerron Mosley, or better known as the Melanated Mr. Mosley. I am an upcoming person on YouTube. I don't want to say personality or anything, but an upcoming person on YouTube. And the Melanated Mr. Mosley platform is speaking only about melanated African issues, be it if it's in the diaspora, or if it's in the UK, or if it's in Africa. Everything talks about nothing but African people. We talk about very difficult conversations. I'll have different guests on that I'll be doing some things with on my channel to talk about maybe things that they may have been through,
Hmm.
any any clashes or things that they had along the way of repatriating. I'll also talk about some issues which surrounds my passion of focusing on human sex trafficking. So I'll be able to really give you some powerful information that you will never learn from your job, your local government agencies, or anything like that. I will give you the hard truth, and I will even have some really good acquaintances of mine who were formerly also involved in human sex trafficking, who were victims and who managed to change their lives around too, and the way that they're thriving now just to be able to serve and educate their community. So, we talk about just many different things. So I don't want to limit myself to just being a person that's talking about going to the Gambia and repatriating. It's going to be that, and it's going to be then some. I'm a chameleon. So,
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so
yes,
much. I
sir.
appreciate your time being on here, and stay blessed.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Love you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So please, this is my last word. If you haven't subscribed to the brothers channel, please just go ahead and subscribe. You don't lose nothing. I always say this: you don't lose nothing when you subscribe to a channel that's doing their best to give out information to people. You know, people spend so much time to record, do this, and I mean, I don't see where you lose anything. You see what I'm saying? So please just go ahead and subscribe to his channel. It's free. He's my brother, and I just want us to support him, just motivate him, because this journey is not easy. For him to decide to sell everything and move to the continent is something we need to encourage him, we need to push him. And the more we do for each other, the more we can grow and become better. So, if a brother is taking a righteous course, we need to show up and let him feel like he got people around his corner. You see what I'm saying? He got people around that can basically give him hope not to give up. If we leave him behind, definitely that's losing a brother with such great knowledge. So we should go ahead and subscribe to his channel. And it's not about having a YouTube. Sometimes it's not about money. It's about doing something that you feel you are called upon to do. Trust me, it's not easy doing this channel. I study, I go to school, I have a family, I work, I have a business. Doing these 5 things together, if you don't have the love for it, you cannot be here. You see what I'm saying? So let's just show support. Let's just basically give our 2 cents in on people's channel, especially those who are doing the best, to make sure we come together. And I appreciate all the love, especially those who donated, supported me, like financially. He has been really good to this channel, honestly, like moderating, supporting, commenting, financial support. It's just like it's all love, and I really appreciate. So, you know, let's go and support him. Let's do our best and support him. And also, if you really want to become a patron, you can go ahead and support this channel on Patreon. If you want to become a member on this channel, you can go ahead and you can go ahead and support the channel and become a member on the channel as well. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm reading the comment. Yeah. So if you have any question, just drop in few or 4 questions, and we can call it a day. But I'm really happy we did this live. It was very productive. So I'll just take some few people. If you want to call in, just 3 people, I'll just give you the chance to call in. 3 people calling. Spend 5 minutes. Keep it short. Keep the conversation short so we can all go to sleep. 5 minutes, 3 people to call in. I'm just putting the link down. 3 people to call in. 5 minutes. Just call in. Just 3 people to call in. 5 minutes. Just calling. 5 minutes. Just click on the link to call in. 5 minutes. We need just three people to call in. Um, 5 minutes. We just need three people to call in, and we'll call it a day. Hold on for a second. Let me put the link down again. Click on the link. Call in. That's the link right there. I just wanted to give people the chance to also speak, and listen as well. So just call in. We just need three people, 5 minutes each. Not a long conversation. Just call in. I always want to keep the conversation. Um, so call in. And if you have any question, you can basically reach out to me through email as well. You can go ahead and reach out to me through, email. Um, oh no, you can call in. Just 5 minutes. I mean, just calling, calling. We just need three people to do so. Just call in. Don't feel shy. You know, you welcome. You welcome. You welcome. Hey, I see ya. How you doing?
Oh wow, it worked.
Oh, well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I was just gonna call. I wanted to just share something very quickly because my kids are here, so it's hard for me.
Okay.
So I'm from Mozambique,
Oh, you
in
from Mozambique? Okay.
Southeast Africa, and I've been in California. Pick you up. Okay, pick you up. I've been in California now for 10 years, and I'm telling you, since George Floyd died, I think about nothing else but going back. I'm trying to figure out how to do it, go back to my country. The first step was convince my husband, who's Turkish,
Mm-hmm.
that it's worth going there. But I'm so inspired by all the African Americans leaving. They really inspire me. And I'm inspired by all the African YouTubers putting out content and helping them figure it out and showing them that it's not what the media says it is, you know? And then this is coming from someone who was in Africa and thought America was the best place to be. And now I'm here and I'm like, maybe not.
Nah,
Uh,
and this is what I'll say. In addition to what you just said about when Floyd was killed, and you feel like going back home. One thing is, if you plan to do it, what I'll say, don't let nothing stop you. It's a feeling you get right there, and it's always important to listen to your inner self, and
yeah.
just pay attention to the little signs you get, and just prepare. Just take the gradual preparations, and before you know, you can make that final move. But American Dream was sold to us, on the African continent, and you realize freedom is actually not here. When they talk about this is the land of the free, yeah, this is the land of the free where the blacks are enslaved. It's never a place for us. You see what I'm saying? So it's basically something any African who really truly believe in the future of the continent will feel. So yes, take that gradual step, and you can finally make that journey.
Sorry, my kids are here and they all want to come onto your channel. Okay.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay.
All right.
I don't want
Thank you so much.
to. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye.
Bye. That was a nice family. Hey, thank you for joining. How you doing? You African millennial.
Hi Danielle, it's the same.
Bibi Abokora, I swear.
Yeah, me okay. I'm just chilling, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've called before, but I've never shown my face because I was kind of shy.
Okay. Never
But
be shy.
yeah, I became like woke, basically like I guess woke like 8 months
Mm-hmm.
ago, and it was actually interesting because I actually got woke off of YouTube. I didn't think it was possible
Okay.
because I was somebody who always loved history, and I
Okay.
realized that I didn't know enough about my history. So then
Mm-hmm.
I decided to read more about it, and then in doing that, I don't know what happened. I connected the dots, and I realized that basically, like, you know how like black people, we always want to be free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I honestly think that we can never be free unless Africa as a continent is free.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you are in the diaspora, even if you're in Jamaica, UK, Germany, if Africa is not free and if Africa is not respected, like, it doesn't matter where you are, it's just not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me realize that, like, a lot of what I was trying to fight for in the West, it just like wasn't worth it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, I used to say this. Italians can go back to Italy, right? Germans go back to Germany. Australians go back to Australia. If you are a black person and you're in the diaspora, the only continent that you have hope for, if anything happens, to go back, whether you accept it or not, is the African continent. We can only do our best to make sure we uphold the integrity, the heritage, and fight to make sure it's a place where we can basically call it a home. Other than that, the West is never going to let us assimilate. It's not possible. You see what I'm saying? It's not. If you're an African on the continent, just imagine how difficult and how hard the process is for you to even get a visa to UK. See what I'm saying? So imagine that. That's just a signal saying, we don't want you here. We don't want you. So I think we need to bear in mind, whether we agree with the message or not, Africa is the only place for us. Only place. It's either we fight to make sure we protect it and save it from losing it or repeating
Oh,
history.
yeah. That reminds me, like, to anyone who's watching this, like, please buy land. Please invest in beachfront property.
Hmm.
I have a whole bunch of things to say about this, but I'm not going to say it. If
Hmm.
you want to know more, you can definitely check out my channel. But
Okay.
basically, what's going on right now is they're buying a lot of land. A lot of people who don't look like us, they're buying land in a lot of beachfronts
Hmm.
because they want to get access to our beaches and our ports to
Hmm.
control who comes in. And then in the future, their plan is basically, you know how what's happening in the Jamaica,
Hmm.
a lot of African countries, they want to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So we really need to, like, work on that before 10, 20 years. We complain that we can't go on our own ports and our own beaches. Like, we need to really take the protection of our
Hmm.
countries more seriously as
Hmm.
opposed to wait on other people to do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's scaring me a little bit, but I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. That's why I always encourage basically I always encourage everyone in the diaspora. I'm like, you can sit down and complain about how bad the US is, but yeah, I mean that solves nothing. You can basically save up money, buy some land in Africa, work on, doing something on it. Let's try to buy back everything. The more we resettle on most of the things on the African continent, then we can take in charge. We can, fight for a better cause in case of anything. So I personally, every dime that I make, it goes back to Ghana. I invest everything back. You see what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this input. And then what's your channel's name?
My channel's name is African Millennial.
Okay, so let me put it up. Please make sure you go subscribe to our sister's channel, African Millennial, and I'll subscribe to as well. But thank you so much for that input. Thank you.
No problem. Bye,
All right.
guys.
You too. Last caller. We just need last caller. We just need last person to call in, and we'll call it a day. Um, we just need the last person to call in. Sandra Banks says, yes, Brother Daniel, you are a unique pioneer indeed. And as an extension to what I do, I'm sharing your channel with students. Peace and blessings to you, Mr. Mosley. I've subscribed. Thank you so much, Sandra Banks. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for that feedback. I'm here. I'm your brother, I'm your son, your uncle, however you want to call me, I am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. And I don't know, you know, thank you so much. But we just need the last person to call. Click on it and just call. We just need the last person. Subscribe to Mr. Mosler's channel. Please, just go and subscribe. Just go and subscribe. He shared a lot of information for an hour 40 minutes. That was his time devoted to share information with us. Let's appreciate his time and show some respect by subscribing. Oh, that's the link. I just clicked. That's the link right there. Gazelle. That's the link right there. Click on it. That's the link right there. Click on it. Last caller, please call in. Oh wow, we have 151 people watching, and everyone is feeling shy. Basically, well, call in. We just need that last caller. 5 minutes. Share everything with us. But what I'll say is, if you want to take that journey, please take it. If you can't even move to the continent, at least visit. You see what I'm saying? If you can move to the continent, at least visit. For so many years, black people around the world don't visit the continent. You see what I'm saying? They don't. I have a video coming up, and I want us to talk about it. But we don't. If you can move, hey Ella, how you doing? Just calling. We need the last person to call in. Relaxing music. Yes, you can get a shout out. Thanks so much. We need the last person to call in, and then we can call it a day. Nobody calling in. Well, I just want to say thank you so much. If nobody will call in, you can basically email me if you have any question. We have a trip coming up to Ghana, Egypt, and Tanzania as well. If you wanted to join a group trip, you can always shoot me an email and ask, about the information. I'll forward it to you. And you know, if you want to be a member of the channel, you can go ahead. If you want to support on Patreon, you can go ahead and do so. Just go on all my videos and check the description. You see all the links. Just go ahead and do it. I don't even have to put the link in here, but thank you so much. I appreciate the love and support. I wish the last person can join. And oh, you said I have best car phone. I can't call. I look horrible. Well, you can turn your camera off if you don't want us to see you. You can turn your camera off. And you can still call. Thank you so much for the moderating job, Melanated Royalty. Thank you so much. I always appreciate your support and time being on here with me. You deserve an award. You deserve an award. Yes, you don't have to be on camera. I keep trying to click on the link. Okay, this is the link. I don't, it should work when you click on it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the love and support. It's just at least 10,000 people agree with the message. That's how I see it. So yes. We need that last person. I'm just giving 3 minutes. If that last person doesn't call in, I just want that last person, to call in. So just call in. Don't feel shy. A lot of people be under the comment section and they feel shy to be on here. Don't feel shy. Come on, man. Come on. Don't feel shy. Miss Positive Vibes. How you doing? But all right. I'm about to end it. Last caller, calling. We need that last person to call in. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, fam. How you doing? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. How you
I
doing?
didn't realize I was on. I call all the time, so I was trying to give somebody else a chance to call you for one.
Yeah, people be feeling shy anyway.
I love the day tonight's broadcast. I always like to hear Jerron speak. He always speaks so eloquently and intelligently, and from a very informed standpoint. One of the things that I was going to ask you if in
Hmm.
one of your upcoming lives we could talk about, because I've seen a lot of controversy surrounding it in some of my Facebook groups lately,
Hmm.
is the countries in which African Americans can actually buy and own the land, because it's been different. I've heard different stories about in Tanzania, the government owns all the land, so you don't really own the land, you lease the land for 99 years. And then I heard someone say it's the same in Ghana, but from my understanding, it's not the same in Ghana. You can actually own the land in Ghana. So it's been some confusion as to whether or not we can own the land that we buy there, or whether or not we're leasing the land, if it's freehold or leasehold.
Okay, so that's an interesting topic right there. But just to maybe just give you a clarity on your concern. Um, every land, right? Let me put it this way: every land in every country is owned by the government, right? In Ghana, there's nothing like freehold in the constitution, right?
Mhm.
I have two lands in Ghana, and it's given to me for 99 years, and that's what yeah, that's what the Constitution says. And even though it states in the Constitution, the fact that you have it for 99 years doesn't mean you lose it after 99 years. See what I'm saying? Normally what happened is we have never had a record of somebody who lived 99 years and said, the seller came back after 99 years and asked me to pay this or that. Nobody ever got to live to experience that. So it just keeps passing on to family and generation. So the fact that I have my land for 99 years on my registration doesn't mean I'll lose it after 99 years. And if you are not a citizen, you have it for 50 years. Now, you can negotiate always in your registration clause, and whoever is selling the land to you, because when you buy to register the land, they have two type of registration. They have land registration through assignment and one through lease, right? So assignment means you are buying it from maybe me. I have already bought it from the chief or the government, and I've already done the paperwork. So you're buying it from me as an assignment. And if you buy a land with an assignment, what you do is you can negotiate a clause with me and say, well, Daniel, after 55 years, that's why you need a lawyer for that. After 50 years or 55 years, what are the terms? Would you come for the land? How will we settle this? And if the person can decide and say, well, after 50 years, I will still let you have the land and I will not come for it. And if you find somebody who is fortunate to go with you on this type of clause in the registration, then technically you have the land forever. You see what I'm saying? But if you buy
Mhm.
a land lease, which means a land with a deed of lease, which means you buying it straight from the chief or the government, which means you be the first person to ever register the land. Now, with that registration, there's no way you can basically negotiate the lease because the government will not give you anything about giving it to you for free after 50 years. But you can do it with a chief, but mostly they will try to overcharge you on that. So I always suggest to the diaspora, if you buy land, buy if a land with a deed of assignment, which means you buying it from a local person who has already registered the land with a certificate, with a title, and selling it to you. You can get a better deal on the lease term.
Okay, so you said go with assignment rather than lease.
Yes. So the difference between a land with assignment and a land with a lease is, if you buy a land with a lease, meaning the land has never been registered, it's a fresh land. So I'm saying the
Mhm.
person who owned the land never registered it with the government. So I'm saying, so there's no
Mhm.
registration on that land. You see what I'm saying? So you are the first person to ever pay to register the land, to have a land title. And if you buy that land, which means you are negotiating the land with the government and not the seller. Make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a difference.
Yeah, so which means you are negotiating the land with the government and not the seller. And if that happens, the government will give you the 50 years. They don't negotiate. You see what I'm saying? But if you
Okay.
buy a land with an assignment, which means, let's say, for example, with my land, I bought it from, a deed, right? I bought it from somebody who basically never registered the land. So when I did a registration, I have 99 years, as a Ghanaian. Now, if you buy the land from me, I have the registration and the certificate done already. You are buying it as a form of an assignment, so it will be transferred of ownership. And within that transaction, you can negotiate for a better clause after 50 years. And if I agree to let you have it forever or have it after 50 years, then you just own the land freehold or forever.
Okay. Well, that cleared that up a little bit for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, most people don't know about that, but I only even got to know that information when I was registering my land, and the guy basically told the guy who did the registration at the Lands Commission basically gave me that information. So it's basically important to know, which land you buying. Does the person have already made a certificate, or no certification done? Is just a non-registered land.
Okay, so that causes us to look at land purchase there a little differently than we look at it here, because here it's mostly freehold.
Oh, here
Yeah.
in the U.S., land is not
Yeah.
freehold. You
Well,
sure?
I mean, in the way of once you buy the land, it's yours, but you have to pay taxes on it basically for the rest of your life. And anybody else who gets it has to pay taxes on it for the rest of your life. But it's not yours for 50 years or 99
Oh,
years. It's yours as long as you can pay the taxes.
taxes. Okay, and you lose it when you don't pay the taxes.
That's true. So it's
Right.
kind of the illusion of freehold, but
Yeah, it's an illusion of freehold. But see, this is the difference, right? Um, in the US, you got to pay taxes on it forever. If you fail to do so, you lose it to the government, which is the actual owners. But in Ghana, right, I have two lands in Ghana. I haven't paid nothing on it, and nobody can take the land from me, even after 99 years, unless maybe land laws changes or whatever. But if I look at the current laws, I can have it for 99 years, still being there. I don't have to pay nothing to anybody. And after 99 years, nobody will come to me and take the land. The seller will be dead by then. And so, he can't. Yeah, and we don't have any clause that state he comes back to get it. So there's no way. I technically own it forever.
okay, that makes me feel a lot better because it was confusing me for a while. So thanks so much for your input on that, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, and thank you so much for being the last caller. I appreciate you calling in. Your question
No
just
problem.
got a lot of information out anyway.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Take care. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love and the support. Until then, see you another time. If you have any question, remember you can always shoot me an email. Let me put my thank you so much. Go back to Africa. Hold on. Let me put my email on there. Hold on for a second. Oh, I can't find the email, but you can shoot me an email on mrwoody3@gmail.com. Hey, Simon, how you doing? Um, you can basically shoot me an email right here. Hold on. Just shoot me an email, if you have any question. But thank you so much. Stay blessed, and see you another time.